Hello, everyone. My project that I'll be presenting for climate justice is Zentrum Poultry by Renzo Piano. So, a quick overview on the project. The project is the outcome of excessive use of steel during the year 2000. So, the project is located in Switzerland and just outside the city of Bern. So, the project's main focus is that excessive use of steel and a lot of modification for soil, which does not account for any spaces currently. So the site is located here on the map, and the neighboring context is mostly residential buildings. I think this project is a good example for SCS climate justice analysis as it targets carbon emission and a lot of land, which has a lot of potential for the community. So based on this, I used Earth Wheel SES tool and combined it with nested scale. So I analyzed the water factor for my site. So the site does not currently facilitate any sort of water management system. So entire water drainage and runoff is led by the city. So this affects the city level water management systems. For the energy, this project has solar cells on the roof of it, so it contributes to production of energy for itself, which leads to less requirement from the city's plant. The site does not have any waste management system. It has a small cafeteria which has a certain level of daily waste generation, but it relies on the city's waste management system. The land has a very important value for the site, as the architect's idea was to have a terrain which will blend with the building, or the building would blend with the terrain. So for doing so, there was a lot of land modification done, which would have resulted in lots of use of energy and sources, and also it affects the regional geographical condition, and also affects the biodiversity and all the living organism inside the soil, and also affects the local migration of species. Another factor I studied is open space. The building has a lot of open space around it that is inside the area for the project, which is not currently occupied. So there's a lot of potential for that, which can serve the community for urban interaction spaces. And also it can have cultivation area where food can be grown, as the building currently relies on local vendors from the city for food supplies. Based on this, I identify my justice community as the local residents, workers, and people who are not associated with art around the project. Now, utilizing the ECCD field guide, I try to answer the questions here. So, what are the other mindsets or terms that are important for my site? So, understanding the community and how the community needs the spaces to work is an important mindset that the building developers should have. And they should also understand the regional architectural style so that the building feels like it's more real in the space and not out of phase. Then the second question is, what might inviting diverse co-workers look like? So inviting co-workers for this project would be inviting local residents and construction workers who are actually going to build the space. So they need to understand what the building is, how the building would be performing. And it is also important for the project developer to invite these communities so that they have a comprehensive understanding of what the project is about. What would building humility and empathy would look like? Building humility and empathy for my project would be, the project developer should understand integration of local residents, understand the limitation of local labor, and commit to coordinate with them and work with them for the city. What might history and healing would look like? My project is affected by historical events during the period of Nazi. The project Syndrome Paul Klee is developed in the memory of famous artist Paul Klee, and the original paintings, were donated by the family member, and those are being displayed here. What might acknowledging dismantling power construct look like? I believe that the construction of this building, the government had not done justice when it comes to regulating construction work, as the building had a different kind of a form, or skilled laborers were required to build the building. These lead to unemployment for the local laborers. What might defining and assessing the topic community needs look like? The community, that is the residents and the worker, are ultimately the one who would be visiting the building daily basis. The government, who accounts only for revenue and earn from it, does not use it daily. So, by understanding their needs, their empathy in the neighborhood, the decision should be a comprehensive decision with the involvement of community and worker, along with the project developer and government. So, my justice communities are maintenance worker, construction worker, residents, and children around the project. So many times it happens that a new building is being developed and it has a unique form where skill labels and new technologies are applied, where the local laborers who have been working for a long time in the region suddenly goes out of employment. This affect their daily routine, and also their lifestyle is being disturbed as they now have to travel long distances to find new work. So the three key strategies that I think could help provide justice for my project is a change in policy where the workers' skill and knowledge stays up to date. There could be some workshops and lectures that can be conducted where and a survey can be conducted where understanding the workers' skill levels and what the technology right currently needs can align and can work their way up together. Building design and construction technique can be demonstrated in a better way so that everyone understand what is required and how it has to be performed. Also, the government can regulate certain architectural aesthetics for the region. Like, for example, if there are a lot of residential building which a certain style, having a new building should be relating to the style instead of having something out of the box. This could restore and maintain the richness of the community. So this diagram is something that I think could help deliver justice is having the developer and government's involvement at a certain level and inviting community and workers thoughts more could help benefit provide justice in terms of this project. Currently, the community has a museum for engagement and is residing in the neighborhood, but the project's focus on revenue, isolation from the community, and excessive use of steel and other materials that are not good for the climate outweighs the community's interest. A policy change where workers and the building design align together, adapting to technology and the mindset and education and bringing the community and workers together in an integration form can be a solution. So the most urgent issues are the unused space has a potential for water management system, energy generation, public space, and a cultivation space. This can be done by bringing a change in a program. There can be a small institution where education related different construction technologies and making it into an institute rather than just being a museum can be one of the key important change. The cultivation space can be utilized for food produce, which can serve the building's requirement for cafeteria and also provide organic food produce for the community around. The waste from the building can be utilized and some sort of artwork can be generated from that that aligns with the museum's artwork can bring in more community engagement into workshops and developing more community spaces. The public space cultivation, energy generation, education, all of the different functions can lead to more employment, more interest of the communities, like more people from the community would visit the space, because now it's not just a museum, but it can host a lot of different functions where different people can gather up for different purposes, and they can contribute to volunteer for certain services. So this is a case study for the building Jean Marie Chibao Cultural Center by Renzo Piano. So this building was built with the primary concept of the village community that resides on the island. All the structure were identification of how the community utilizes the local material and build their spaces required for for the island. So every individual shell here represent different displays, like the artwork or different artifacts from the local communities. So this case study aligns to my project in a way that this project does not speak for itself, but also speaks for the context and the location where it is located. So based on this, I had made some design recommendations. So why I'm making this design recommendation is also listed here. So currently the building is isolated and stands alone on the site facing a highway. So this is what the current condition is. So adding a supporting space around the building can act as an urban community space, which can bring in more community engagement. This will open the facility towards the community from different directions. The building does not currently cultivates its own food, and it has a lot of open area which can be used for different cultivation processes where community can engage and volunteer, and this can also help create more employment and a more interaction towards this towards the area around. So the building is right now a museum, and it targets only a certain level of community, and the people just visit the space for a museum, modifying the program, bringing in more functions as mentioned earlier in urgent issues. It can be more interactive and more number of people will visit from the community for different purposes. Currently, the building is very different from the context, and it does not resemble towards the community aesthetically. Policy change where a new construction style for the addition space could connect the current building to the existing community, where instead of a wavy form, a traditional arch or wall structure would be better for the workers, and it would connect more to the community. So this way, the local workers can keep their jobs and work for the project developers. And the material would be more climate friendly, and it would not create carbon emission to very much levels that the building would have created. So my project is aiming for a comprehensive built space, which is by the people and for the people. Thank you.